Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Real Estate Backstory. My name is Alan Richardson. I'm the managing broker at Maxwell Realty and Realtor Partners. This is my partner and wife, and overall much better person than me.
Oh, you're being sweet.
I am.
Anyway, he's my other better half, actually. My name is Ming Richardson. I am the compliance broker from Maxima One Realty and Realtor Partners.
Very good. All right, today we're going to be pulling out our crystal ball, and we're going to
He
be
is.
okay. Well, we're gonna talk it up a little bit today, kind of thing. We did want to start off kind of with the training we have this week. So on Tuesday this week, we have our accountability meeting. That's Tuesday at 10. Also on Tuesday at 1 o'clock, the Ultimate Listing System, Marcy Evans, out of the our North Atlanta or North Georgia branches. She's going to be teaching the Ultimate Listing System. And then on Thursday, we also have Tech Thursday this week. So not a ton of CE, but Tech Thursday this week is going to be about Chime 2.0. So, all right. Also, I just wanted to wish, let's see, I believe the correct greeting to give is have an easy fast, but this is the end of Yom Kippur, and I am not Jewish, but I do have quite a few clients, and I know a lot of you guys do as well. It's a Jewish holiday. It's probably like the most sacred, the most solemn of all the Jewish holidays, kind of thing. It's the time when Jews reflect on the past year, of God's forgiveness for their sins. No Jews go to school or work on this day. And the customary greeting kind of thing is maybe sealed in the book of life, but I can't speak that in Hebrew or Yiddish because I don't know how to do it, and it would just be kind of
He'll botch
hilarious.
it up, trust me.
Oh yeah, I
With
have a
his
hard time
southern
with
twang.
English, so much less trying to do anything in Yiddish. But we all have a lot of clients from a lot of different nationalities and religions, and we want to be respectful of all those. So if you happen to have a Jewish client, throw that out there today too. So it wraps up today. So we start off talking a little bit about our crystal ball, and so we kind of want to go over with you kind of what is happening as far as like what's the future of real estate looking like? When is it going to get easier to buy a home? Now, on one hand, this could be kind of a case study for Econ 101, because we have so many different forces jumping into the real estate market right now. We have very low housing supply, very high buyer demand. We also have this economy that has really taken a kick in the teeth, but it really is rebounding at the same time. And then you throw kind of like the gasoline on the entire fire is historically low interest rates. And honestly, the feds are also completely great, not even worried about inflation. They're just going to keep interest rates really historically the lowest we've ever seen, kind of thing. It's almost to the point where they're just about to pay us to borrow money at some point here, kind of thing. So, that being said, we definitely going to talk a little bit more about Ming and mine and Ming's feelings about where everything's going, but I also wanted to kind of bring you up to speed about kind of what's going on with the other big talking brains in our industry, kind of thing. And so, the professor of real estate at the University of Pennsylvania, Susan Watcher, she feels that the limited housing supply has been an issue for years. And this is really, really true. Back in 08, basically, the builders stopped building. And
if you remember, we have in Henry County alone, we had 3 years of worth of inventory on permits. Yeah. So, I mean, really.
But all the builders just stopped, back in 08, and nobody's really been truly building for almost 10 years. And so, we don't have enough supply of homes on the market, bottom line, kind of thing. Same thing, or the same opinions from Sarah Rodriguez, and she's the president of the National Association of Hispanic Real Estate Professionals real estate professionals. She's talking about the same thing, that housing demand remains so high that it's not going away anytime soon. This is a supply demand issue, kind of thing. Right. We have John Burns, who is also another consultant. We have the principal economist at CoreLogic, who said, that the given continued economic uncertainty and lack of activity among existing homeowners, we anticipate the inventory shortage to persist, with inventory levels remaining at 20 to 30% below last year's levels, which means we're going to have 20 to 30% less houses than we had at the same time. The chief economist at Texas A&M kind of says the same thing. Well, we see the whole 9 yards. The chief economist at Fannie Mae, they spoke about, and they put out this press release. They said, we believe the housing will continue to be a sector with relative strength amid the larger downturn. We're seeing some early signs shifting buyer preference to locate to lower density areas, even driving additional purchase activity. Basically, what Fannie Mae is seeing is that because of inventory shortages, people are willing to move even farther and creating another almost a second push. And we've kind of seen the same thing.
Right.
I think for those of you that operate in the kind of like extreme suburban, almost rural areas, the amount of activity level on those homes has really kind of been staggering with how much activity. It used to be, we'd be like, okay, we got, on a rural property, you might have 3 months of standing inventory. Well, now it really is not that different. Like we're seeing acreage, land, with houses that really are going really, really quickly right now.
Absolutely.
The president the president and CEO of CoreLogic said, on an aggregated level, the housing economy remains rock solid despite the shock and awe of the pandemic. And It really is. Housing is really, really solid. The challenge for us with that is that not all the industries that our clients are involved in are nearly as solid. Because, for us, it's kind of like, hey, the world's on fire. What about house? Because it's really, really good for our industry kind of thing.
Well, I mean, if you look at basic human needs, shelter is one of them. So, without that, you really can't move forward to other items. So housing is always going to be fantastic.
On existing homes, as far as the sales, this past month, we hit the highest level since
December 2006.
So it's been 14 years since we've seen this level of activity, which was actually before the Great Recession kind of thing. We are not looking at going into another Great Recession, at least on the housing
front.
No,
on the housing side.
We can't say anything about that necessarily. One other very interesting fact that came out this past week is that with all the government aid, what happened with the stock market gains, even though our economy is having a really it's climbing back up, don't get me wrong, but no one can say that the economy hasn't felt the pinch of COVID. That being said, U.S. wealth is back to before the pandemic, to the level of that. So not only have we made back up what the average wealth in the U.S. was, we're now more wealthy in the U.S. than before COVID hit. Even with everything else that's going on and all the negativity that we see, and believe me, there's not going to be anything really positive going on in the news. We're in an election cycle, and so for the most part, anything you turn on, the whole world's going to be everything's on fire. And I don't care if you're a Republican or a Democrat. If you're a Republican, you talk about how bad things will be. And if you're a Democrat, you talk about how bad things are. So no matter what, it's negative out there. And I'm not getting political at all. We don't play that. I am apolitical kind of thing. I'm like a flower. So distressed property is also another thing that has not affected our market. Now, some folks have said that there is going to be a big push, and realistically, do I know that when these foreclosure moratoriums end, is there going to be more foreclosures on the market? Absolutely. The challenge is that for the past 2 years, and even for this year, If you look at back in, say 2012, when we were still coming out of the Great Recession, do you know that foreclosures accounted for 35% of all property sales? Okay.
That's huge.
A third of all property sales were distressed properties. How about now? How much? 1%, less than 1% even now, because there's all these foreclosure moratoriums going on. So,
and a lot of stocks and then people gearing up.
Yeah, but with so are we going to see a lot of these foreclosure moratoriums end on December 31st? We know that that's gonna, and at that point we've got a 3 to 4 month period where properties will start being liquidated, put it on, but it's going to take several months to go through that inventory, and people are and the government is still putting out a lot of programs to try and help people. We're not going to see this massive flood of properties in the market, and honestly, even if we did, it doesn't come close to the amount of properties that we need on the market right now. It's not even close to being that.
Even if we go ahead, even if say everything went on January 1st, everything got foreclosed and what have you, that percent of foreclosure only accounts for less than what? 2%?
Oh, about 2%, yes.
Of our inventory that we actually need. So even though it's going to be out there, the percentage of the foreclosure home as far as overall inventory that we need only makes up 2%.
Yep.
So with that said, it's still shortage of supply.
Yeah. Also with the, since COVID's come out, everyone has said, man, home prices are going to drop. If you look at where Fannie Mae, Zillow, and CoreLogic all were earlier this year, Fannie Mae thought the year might end up about flat. Zillow thought we'd be down about 3%. CoreLogic said we'd be down on home prices by 6.5%.
Right.
Yeah. But hey, guess what? Were they ever wrong, kind of thing? And so they've adjusted those future home prices moving forward, as far as Fannie Mae is looking at home prices increasing over the next 12 months by 4.5%, Zillow about 3.6%. CoreLogic is always a little more conservative. They're only showing a slight growth of less than a percentage. But the thing is that we're just not seeing that. And residential real estate is really driven by the factors of supply and demand. We have way more supply. I'm sorry.
Demand than we do supplies.
Reverse that. So really our bottom line is this: we are making babies faster than we're building houses. That's kind of our bottom line here, is we don't have enough homes for the number of families that want them. We had this big building hiatus, and it's hard to catch up from 10 years of not truly building enough inventory, kind of thing. When the builders stopped building back in 06, 07, 08, from that point forward, even at that point, we were undersupplied. This is going on almost a 20-year trend where we haven't had enough inventory. And during those last 20 years, anyone making any babies? Yeah, of course. So that's families growing up, and people are, life's going on, and our population continues to grow. But if you look at, if you compare the trends of population growth along with housing stayed relatively flat. So we need more homes. The real challenge here, and this is where we really want to get to this on everything, is what are we going to do about it? See, the time is now for us to realize that we got to stop waiting for it to go back. It's not going back. It's not getting better. We have to make sure that we have designed and we operate our businesses so that we can get off the fence and refocus our plans to how business is now. This is what we're looking at going forward. We are not looking at inventory levels shooting back up. There's just not enough demand, or there's too much demand and not enough supply. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that. But the challenge is that we've got to realize that this is our market. This is what we're looking at for at least the next 2 years right now. Interest rates are not going to go up substantially. We might see them move into the fours at some point, but even that is ridiculously low. And so we're not looking at interest rates hurting us. We don't have enough supply of available properties. Mortgage financing is continuing to be more and more available to us as we go. The economy continues to increase. Regardless of who wins the election, we will probably see some kind of a dip around there. If you just track political trends, whenever, following any presidential election, there's always some kind of a dip, but don't let that overall, that's going to be just something that we work through no matter what. I'm not going to be political about it at all. So the bottom line is that we need more inventory. We need more houses, but we can't wait for the business to change to what our business plans used to be. We can't, the time for waiting is past us right now.
For those of you who want to stay in real estate, honestly, you need to revise your business plan to today's market. To think that traditional way of doing business is the way to do it, that is not correct. We do encourage you to read a lot of books in reference to what's going on in the market shift, as you know, the market is changing all the time. And geographic farming, right now is the best time to do geographic farming, along with reaching out with your sphere influences. If you want to buy leads, that's fabulous, but understand those leads will cost you quite a bit of money. And you're not the only one that's buying it. Okay, so whatever your niche is, concentrate on your system and procedure. Once you get that down packed, I promise you, you will see the rewards and benefit of it.
Right, because it's time to stop. We as a brokerage, we've had our 3 best months ever. Transactions are really, really rocking. But across the board with our agents, what we see is that some folks are having their best years ever. I mean, talking about knocking it out of the park. They are just,
I have agents writing contract once a week.
Yeah, I mean, just rolling
under contract.
And at the same time, we have folks who are waiting, who are on the sidelines. They're waiting for COVID to pass. They're waiting for the market to shift. They're waiting for inventory on the market. They're waiting. And while you wait, you're going broke. Okay, the time for waiting is past, because look, this is not going to change. And that's what I want you to understand. We got our crystal ball. We're looking at everything. It's not going to change. This is our reality for the time being. And really for the next, at least the next 12 months or so. So if you don't adapt your business to what's happening now, you are not going to be successful right now.
Absolutely.
All right. So this past, moving on into other news, Zillow put out some new news that has agents hating Zillow even more again.
And guess what? They're taking a percentage of your commission for all the referral services.
Yeah. So Zillow is decided that, yes, okay, we all heard Zillow say we're never going to be a brokerage, and now they're a brokerage. And then we heard Zillow say, well, we're going to be a brokerage, but we're going to work with agents still. Well, guess what? They've decided that they are going to stop working with agents. And if you're going to work through the Zillow iBuyer program, well, guess what? They're going to do that in-house, and they're not going to partner with agents moving forward, kind of thing. You have until January 1st in the Atlanta, Phoenix, Tucson, Arizona areas. If you would like to continue to offer if you want to offer your client's property to Zillow, and as a potential buyer for your property, they'll pay you a commission until January 1. But starting on January 1, they're getting into it or getting out of it. But this is a trend that we're seeing across the board for all the iBuyers. Open Door has their own brokerage, OfferPad has their own brokerage, and now Zillow has their own brokerage. And there's a part of me that finds that kind of ironic, because they were supposed to be coming in, and these guys were going to be the They're going to be the death to real estate. They're going to change the way the whole thing. They're going to mix up the whole model. Well, guess what? They're moving into traditional brokerage services just like we are. And if you want to compete with Zillow, you just got to be ready to get out there and compete with Zillow. Yes, they have a lot of money. Yes, they're on the internet. But you know what they don't have? They don't have this. They don't have a beating heart. Okay. And so if you want to get out and beat Zillow, they're out there and they're not that tough to beat. They're big. They've got great processes. I understand that, but what they don't have is they don't have the heartbeats. And the majority of of all of our transactions are relationship based. And when you're relationship based, that doesn't affect you nearly as much. So our home sales hit the highest levels since 2006. That has continued to amaze all of the big talking heads kind of thing. So, we saw our largest month-over-month annual growth according to NAR ever kind of thing. And so it really continues to go. Our inventory is way, and I do mean way down from last year. In Atlanta, in the Atlanta, Sandy Springs, Roswell, Georgia. I know it sounds weird to Atlanta, Sandy Springs. This is how they classify it kind of thing. The median list price year over year is up 9.9%. So we're right at 10% higher list price than we were a year ago. We have 46% less total listings, almost half. And the median days on market is 9 days faster than last year. So the bottom line here is we need more sellers, and we need to be reaching out and engaging our sellers, but our sellers won't be sellers if you do not make them buyers first. One of the biggest hurdles right now to selling your home is deciding where you're going to go. Otherwise, you're going to make your sellers homeless. And we care about our sellers. We don't want to hurt anyone by selling their home. But if you have sellers that are thinking about selling, you have got to start the buying process with them now. You can't wait. They can't put this off. You need to go ahead and get your sellers pre-approved. You need to go ahead and get your sellers set up on automatic searches to start looking for properties. Once they know that they have a place where they can go. And I do really like the idea of working with new construction, because that gives you a little bit of a time frame right there. Mm-hmm. Start talking to your sellers about looking at new construction, because that's the place where the biggest amount of inventory for us right now is, and that will start to ease up. But you've got to start these plans now. But you have to help them understand where they're going. It really is a great time to be a seller, but if you're homeless, that's not a great place to be.
It's not. And we actually had a couple cases where it came really, really close, where the seller is almost homeless due to the fact there's just not enough inventory out there.
Yeah. I mean, don't get mad at me because I sold your house fast, right? like we don't. I mean, that's a great problem to have. But on the other side, if we want people to really feel comfortable with selling their home, they have to know where they're going. So please focus on that. Because see, fall is here. And normally this is the time when, we got pumpkin spice and we've got pumpkins and it's fall and leaves are falling and business slows down. Wrong. Okay. Our fall is much closer to spring right now. Mm-hmm. We are still rocking and rolling kind of thing. So don't think that fall is a time when things are just, we're going to go on hay rides and do that kind of stuff. Because right now, no, we need to be out listing properties and helping our buyers move in, because there's a huge demand right now. Mortgage rates this past week, they edged up just a tick. But when I say a tick, it was 2.9. It's still below 3. So it's ridiculously low kind of thing. Our challenge is that mortgage demand is up by 40% from a year ago. And overall, that really is just huge. I mean, 40% over last year is already new. Mm-hmm. So we just saw that we know that there's 40% more demand for mortgages, and there's 49% less inventory on the market. So we have almost 100% swing in the volume of our business right now. So, overall, for the actual week, mortgage applications were up about 6.8% over the previous week. 40% over last year. Purchase applications were up 13% last week. Refis were only up 9%, but all in all,
great rate. So
it really is looking good. At the same time, forbearance has declined. It's now at 6.93. It's below 7% of the market, and of those, the majority of those are FHA. Fannie and Freddie loans are a little bit much lower percentage. The majority of loans in forbearance are FHA loans right now. And even though forbearance is definitely an issue that we're keeping our eye on, it has continued to decline. But we also have to understand really where the average American is kind of falling behind. If you look at the delinquency rate of like student loans, credit cards, auto loans, and mortgages, where have they been traditionally? If you looked at, let's say you went back to 2008 when the market was crashing, overall mortgage, people falling behind on their mortgage was just below 5%. Right now it is
less than 1%.
Oh yeah, really, really low. Meanwhile, some of the places that have seen, right now the biggest loans that are behind overall are student loans. Yeah. Now, we have to make sure that our clients understand that student loans are a big deal. Student loans is one of those challenges that hurts so many of our buyers in being able to. So you got to make some kind of a minimum payment. If you don't pay your
student loan, you won't. You just can't get a loan. Bottom line.
Yep.
Okay, that is the bottom line. Now you can modify it. You can consolidate it. You can do a lot of things with it, and lenders should be able to help you out. But at the same time, if you don't pay that loan, there is no loan.
Yep. Credit card rates, the number of consumers behind on their credit cards has increased. The number of people behind on their auto have increased, but on their mortgage, not nearly to that extent. So people value their homes, and that really is a good thing. At the same time, we talked earlier about the what happens when the mortgage forbearance, when all the eviction forbearance ends. Well, Wall Street's got a plan there. And so right now we have all these companies out there looking to gobble up any.
They're stockpiling cash.
They're stockpiling cash, waiting for January 1 to roll out. So please don't think that this inventory is just going to come on the market and free things up. They aren't. USA Homes for Rent, all these companies out there have already started generating. We had one that generated $25 million, one that is preparing to spend $200 million a month to acquire those foreclosures when they come on the market. So don't think that these foreclosures coming into the market are really going to make a huge impact and ease up our inventory woes by any means, because these companies are loaded with cash and ready to buy these houses up, kind of thing. So right now our most, the fastest growing areas, not the most, but the fastest growing areas are areas outside big cities that have a little bit more room. We're seeing where buyers are willing to go farther out than they used to be. Commute is not
an issue.
Well,
for some, teleworking right now is really popular.
See, the top perk of remote work is no commute. And so when you have no commute, when you don't have to commute in, do you mind living out in the outskirts, out in the...
With a little more room and a little relaxing, not as hustle and bustle?
We're continuing to see that the suburban areas continue to improve, kind of thing. New home sales
is account for about almost 20% of our current purchase. That is incredible, because it's topped the 1 million mark right now.
Yeah, well, that 1 million mark is really a big deal, because that's 1 million homes, topping 1 million sales. And that is a big number. We haven't seen that in 15 years, kind of 15, 16 years since we hit that number. That is a good number that we really need. I want to celebrate that because we need the builders, because of these inventory woes that we're having. We need the builders to be building. We need PVC farms popping up everywhere again, kind of thing. We truly need that. But that being said, we do want you to kind of be very diligent with one particular builder that we've had that several of our agents have had issues in dealing with.
Just want you to know that LGI homes only pay agent 2%. And when you sign your client in their sign-in sheet, if your client by any chance went through their website and registered themselves, you are automatically excluded as a buyer's agent, even though you are there presenting the walkthrough, the initial greeting and meet, and the initial paperwork, because you signed that agreement on the initial sign-in sheet. It states that you will not be eligible. As a matter of fact, if you look at well, you can't see that, but we'll have a PDF for this for you after the fact. One of the things that says, basically, buyers shall defend, indemnify, and hold harmless the seller and seller representative, employee, affiliate, and agents in front of against in all demands, liens, or lawsuit for commissions, compensation, or fee or other claim by real estate agent, broker, or other third party arise out of their alleged representation of buyer or claiming by, through, or under buyer. So basically, it puts a buyer in a very awkward position, because if your buyer is on the line, that's all they can do. They can't pay a 3% commission to you. Guess what?
They're basically
away.
sticking the buyer, saying, well, the buyer can pay you, but we're not going to. And a lot of times that knocks the deal out already. Plus, it puts us in a very difficult position
with our client who we've been working with. I mean, I had agents that's worked with the client since February, and then the agent suggests here some sites you can go to and look at some new homes, new constructions, and the buyer did that. But in process doing that, they click on link on LGI home, and because of that, LGI is denying our agent their commission. And honestly, there's a whole nother story behind that. So,
but anyway, we just want you to be very diligent with that. We are trying to see if we can't have GAR look into this, because the MLS has certain agreements. If you're going to offer commission on the MLS, then you need to pay it. So we have some issues that we're trying to work through
costs,
legally, and because they're a big builder out of Texas, but they're not used to working in Georgia, and so we're not really pleased with them right now. So.
And also, I just saw a couple other new builders that has popped up. Be careful and read the language, because all of them have their own forms. I have seen some is considered deposit versus earnest money. So deposit is not treated like earnest money. So be careful with the language. Make sure if you don't understand it, just say, hey, will you take a look at it?
We have a lot of different CE classes and assistance on preparing yourself to work in new construction. Please be very diligent with all of our builders right now. They know that they hold all the inventory, so they hold the cards right now. We've got to be very careful with that in protecting our clients and moving forward.
Absolutely.
One last thing that we want to kind of throw out there, in that our buyers are having a new additional challenge, and that is
appliances.
Yeah, getting appliances is now difficult. So when COVID hit, a lot of the factories, that kind of stuff, kind of
slow down.
It really did slow down, and then all of a sudden, in I believe it was in February, they sold more freezers in February than they did in all of 2019. Because guess what people were doing? They were sitting at home eating, and so they wanted to go in.
We all had COVID babies.
Yeah, I got a COVID baby right here. So, but the whole idea is that so suddenly the freezers just boom, those went. All of our appliances started. Plus we're home more. Appliance usage has really increased.
And lawnmower.
But we're seeing where all the appliances now, there's a real shortage going on in appliances, and especially if you had like higher end stuff, things that needed to get made and that kind of stuff. We're seeing where, our builders may have had a higher end appliance package that's now, we have one builder, he's 3 months behind on the appliances. You know, they just went and put in builder grade just to get started kind of thing. And so I guess my best piece of advice is don't wait. Used to be, you'd be like, I don't have to worry about this. If you need appliances, don't wait, or you may not get them when you need them. You need to give yourself and your clients enough time to get appliances, you know, especially on closings. You know, if you say, you know, this appliance has to be here by this point, you can't go do that the week before closing now. No. That means we needs to be done 30, 45 days in advance to make sure that it's here in time.
Absolutely.
So really, that's our wrap up for the day. I hope that this was helpful to everybody. We appreciate you guys joining us every week to kind of go over what's going on with the market and what we see happening out there. If we can be of any kind of service, please let us know. Call, text, smoke signals. We answer it all. So
thank you.
Bye, y'all.
Have a great Monday.